Hello and welcome back to the painting corner as we continue working through this amazing little fellow over here. Tonight we're going to be working on getting some of the lens detailing happening. So we're going to have a green lens, green lens, green lens. And in this trio of lenses over here, I think I'm going to go with green, green and red, just for something different. So without any further ado, let's get into doing some lenses after title screen. Okay, so the first thing we're going to be doing is getting ourselves all set up. We're going to have a series of colors. So we've got yellow, white scar, phalanx yellow is for the yellow side of things, warpstone glow, and basing it off with Abaddon black, Abaddon black, Abaddon, this one. What I like to do with this is actually work through a bit of a color spectrum. And so the first thing we're going to do is actually base off some of these lenses. I've already based with the black, which is great, but there are some which I have not. You know what? I'm going to put that one and a little dot next to it as well. I'm going to turn those into lenses too. So let's get on to some basing with the black coats. Alright, so the first thing I usually do with lenses is a little bit backwards to how I see it being done. And I've also realized this is a fat brush, so it's not going to be particularly effective. And we take the very tip, and I like starting with the lights and then gradually getting darker. I find it's just an easier way of getting a really thin line. Now I'm having a light source coming from this direction here, so I need to have an opposite color. We need to have the light going through the lens, meaning I need to have the opposite edge lit up. Now, it looks like a great big white blob, but I'm trying to make sure that there's a thin black line at the background there. And you see how there's that thin line still happening between the white and the black. That creates that extra bit of depth into the lens. I'm not too fussed if I touch that bit because I need to tidy it, and I need to tidy this one as well. So that's a good starting point for those ones. The ones on the back here, again, the light source is always going to be coming from the top right. Now the reason why I don't mind going too thick with the white is my next coat is going to be yellow. So by having a nice white base essentially, it's going to help that yellow really shine through. Now both the green lenses and the red lens will start in a similar fashion, so it's going to be fine. Oof, almost made a bit of a whoopsie there. It's going to be fine to start them both in the same sort of a way. Just adding a little bit more of that guy. There we go, that's done with the white. Let's get some yellow ready. Alright, tripod time. Sorry for the time-lapse view. You're going to be able to see me wearing a delightful hoodie of my wife's. All I'm doing with this is essentially going over the white, leaving a very, very thin, or I'm trying to leave a very thin line of white on the edge. Again, I'm not too fussed if I go over the rest of the lens, as long as I leave that thin white line down the bottom. And this is why I tend to go in reverse order. It's easier to go darker than it is to go, well, I find it's easier to go darker than it is to go to lighter. Actually, I'll do that one at the end. You turn into a short little video with all the colours exposed. Next up, we've got that warpstone glow. Now, I chose this one because I happen to like the colour of that green. But this technique is applicable to any colour. You can use reds, blues. I've done greens on this guy. I've done greens on that guy. I've done reds on the turret. Weapons on this one, so that's got the reds going through there. Haven't put the glossy coat over the top of that one yet, but that'll come. But essentially you just have to try and find the same colour and work your way through the shades. And so that's all I'm doing now. By applying green to the palette, I can now mix it with my yellow and create completely different shades. Now I happen to like that very light green that we've created there. I'm going to give it just a little bit more yellow. And with that, I'm just going to take off the excess. I'm going to apply this very thin green, but it can go, leaving just a very thin strip of yellow behind now. And see, now you can see that very slight thin white, thin yellow, thin light green. And now what we have to do is get a little darker. A bit of an error there, so I just have to go a little bit yellower. Now wet blend that in again to the darker. There we go. Then we can mix in a bit of black and start darkening a little region in that back corner. A bit too much. You can see there's a nice delineation going from white to the darker green there. Now all we have to do is give it a catch light. Infinite. So a catch light, we have to use a very, very thin dot of black. And the point at which you expect the light to be coming in. See all those little dot points there, that's good. And then to cap that off, we do an even finer white dot on top of those. And there we have it. That's a series of gems. Pretty well done. Now, all I want to do is make sure that they're the same sort of colours and directions as those guys. So you can see I put a glossy coat over that one at the end, and it creates that really shining lens effect. And so I will do the same over these ones. But all the light sources are in the same directions, so when I stick that one on there, that's looking very nice. Very nice. There you go. Lens is complete. We'll see you in the next episode. Thank you.